It's the Fellowship of the Geeks Show, brought to you through the support of the following: Awesome Comics at GalaxyColledDallas.com, SciFiFX.com, and Voodoo Gingerbread Graphics. Music courtesy of FreePlayMusic.com. You can contact the Fellowship at email@thefellowshipofthegeeks.net. And now, on with the show! Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Fellowship of the Geeks show for the week of June 11th, 2013. My name is Thomas Chick, and with me tonight via the miracle of Google Hangout is Mike Marlowe.
Hello.
Les Webster.
Evening.
And from the website, A Galaxy Called Dallas, James Pickering.
We would just like to clear it up that Mike Marlowe is not the miracle, it's the Google Hangout that's the miracle.
Given some of the names you people have been calling Google Hangouts the last few weeks, I don't think it's much of a miracle at all. They're even worse than the names you usually call me.
Google Hangouts, now with more hamster.
Wow.
Could have been worse. He could have said gerbil. Anyway.
Notice I did.
Called Google Layout.
Hey, wait a minute. We got Richard Gere wanting to come in.
We're amusing ourselves pretty well already.
God.
This turned south quick, man.
Fellowship After Dark.
One day y'all are going to regret allowing me on here.
Eat at night.
We've already lost Les. Lost Les. Les lost. I would ask how everybody's doing, but I think I already know.
Wound up.
It's the new lossless video. All right.
Wearing a red shirt, so he matches.
Is that red?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Gina may want to stay away because you know what happens with people in red shirts.
Yes, when they're beamed down to Earth, yes.
Beam down to any planet. So, go ahead. What were you going to say, Les?
No, I was just reacting to Mike's laughter.
Oh, okay.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
It was James's fault.
Go ahead, blame it on me.
Yep.
Everybody else has this week.
Bluto did it. Bluto did it.
Yeah, Bluto's the name of my little brother's pit bull that I met this past week.
Oh, really? Well, Bluto did it then. It's appropriate then.
Yay, the first joke so far that has been. All right.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but... So, welcome everybody to this special show. It's a super show. Hint, 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 hint.
Right here on our shoe.
Right here on our shoe. Yeah. It is going to be a Superman intensive show with the new movie Man of Steel coming out here in the next couple of days. I know a couple of people are excited. I know one person's not really excited about seeing the movie.
Well, let's not have any spoilers now.
Well, I thought we were going to keep this on a positive note.
I didn't promise that.
There's that positive note behind a while back already.
So, who is excited? Who's interested in seeing the movie? Let me say it that way. Da, 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 da. By the process of elimination, who's not excited about seeing the movie?
3 out of 4 doctors recommend this movie.
The fourth one was out of town.
You people aren't doctors.
But I play one on television.
Oh, okay.
I have a sonic screwdriver.
You and Alec Baldwin right there. And doctors.
So why exactly are you not interested in seeing Superman?
Here we go.
Gee, let's fling all our cards down right up front.
Well, okay. If this is going to be part of the segment, then we can wait.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it?
If y'all want it to be, or we can save it a little bit later. Whatever.
3 of us are really excited about it. One's not. And I could just, imagine somebody watching the video go, I don't care what he says either,
Ow.
But
Or Mikey.
I'm curious. I mean, is it the possibility of the storyline and how they're going to change it? Or, is it...
You're just not a fan of the character, are you, Mike?
That's a part of it at the very least. Ultimately, I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just not big on Superman. I mean,
or especially the emo Superman that looks like that's coming out.
The only thing that has me optimistic in any way from what I've seen of Man of Steel is that it looks like they're actually going to treat him like an alien.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, based on what I've seen in the past, which I admit is somewhat limited. I mean, I have not read every single comic book issue that has included Superman. But from what I have seen, I don't know. He's just not. I don't think he's handled well all that often. And I certainly don't think I have yet to see a Superman movie that I've ever really liked.
Including the first one?
Including the first one. Now, I was fairly young when I saw it, but I was not impressed. And none of the subsequent ones have done any better as far as I'm concerned. And the one that came out a few years ago, well, let's just not mention that.
That one is almost... That's one of the few that I could agree with a certain member that we all know, that I can look at that and go, to me, that kind of ranks as fan fiction. But I still liked it.
Not even good fan fiction. Yeah.
Well, and I say I like it. If it pops up on TV, I'd probably flip over and watch it just because it's Superman. But that's probably about the only reason I would.
And it bothers me that we have to have such low standards for what should be, and by all other accounts than mine, is possibly the most iconic comic book character in history. Mm-hmm. We shouldn't have to have such low standards for that.
Well,
go ahead. Go on.
No, I was just going to say we have really no guarantees when we go to the movie theater, and it's not like we plop down $8 to $12 and go, this better be damn good or I get my money back. And
well, there are people that do that. But
well, yeah.
Not one of them.
But on a realistic basis, that's there's been very few movies that I've ever really walked out of, and I guess I made a comment before about how I guess when it comes to movies I have low standards as to what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy.
Well, let's spin this a little bit. Let's call you a movie fanboy.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds way better than saying you have low standards.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Okay, well I can deal with it. Yeah, I'm a movie fanboy. Screw the rest of you.
Absolutely.
No, but I can see where you're coming from as someone who hasn't read all the comic books and is not, there's up until a couple of years ago, I didn't know that Superman and Lois ever really got married, ever had a kid, or I didn't even know Superman got killed until a couple of years ago. And getting back into it, I know that there's a lot of stuff out there that I'm totally unaware of, and that it might show up in the movies. So it's one of those where if I'm missing that much, I guess if I was more involved in it and I did know more about Superman, I would probably be a little bit more critical of the movies and stuff. But since I'm not, that's why I'm not critical of them.
Right, and I mean, we can take all of what I'm saying with the total grain of salt that I'm doing it before the movie comes out. So there's no way I can know what's in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just, based on what I've seen, and I'm just not excited about it.
Gotcha.
That's not to say I won't ever watch it. I will certainly not be out there this weekend trying to watch it.
Elbowing the kids, or
kicking small children in the head and stuff.
Us
like
old
that.
farts that'll be there.
If I do that, it'll be for fun, not to go see Superman. But yeah, it's a movie I'll watch someday. Probably soon after it comes out on DVD. But it's not high on my priority list.
Cool. Well, Les, you've been around longer than us three, so you're pretty much more invested in Superman. What do you think?
Wow.
Sorry, Les, I hadn't seen you in a couple of weeks, so
That's 15 yards.
Here comes
of
the
clipping
bus.
right there.
Here comes the bus. Here comes the bus.
Yeah, let me back up now. Golly.
Hey, it wasn't
I'm like Mike in the respect that there are characters that they've made movies about that I thought were absurd.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't appeal to me, but the general audience flocked to see them.
like maybe Superman 3 and 4?
No. 4 was the worst. Believe me. Superman Returns was probably third out of the 5.
Mm-hmm.
The one with Richard Pryor I thought was ridiculous, and then 4 was something I want to forget. It's one of those things you cannot unsee.
See, to me, the one with Richard Pryor, that was the only saving grace for the whole movie, was the fact it had Richard Pryor in it. And at that time...
He was a hot commodity, and that's
exactly,
that's why they
it was a Richard Pryor movie with Superman in it. That was basically what it was.
Yeah.
Right, because he was so hot at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, what was going on at that time? He had The Toy, Brewster's Millions,
Stir
Crazy.
Stir Crazy, the train movie. There was him and Richard Pryor.
Silver Streak.
Silver Streak. All those, right?
He had the baseball movie, the Traveling All-Stars.
Yeah.
Didn't go long in the Traveling All-Stars or something like that. He had plenty out there.
Well, and his stand-up films were really hot. Were extremely hot.
That's true.
But I'm thinking of other characters that they've done movies of, and those are the ones that I wasn't really fond of, yet millions of people showed up for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that those, if I don't know about the character, I'm like Mike, I'm not that tuned into it, and I'm not sitting there going, wow, that's a great movie. Although they trot out things that did not happen anywhere in the comic books. That's the difference. It doesn't matter what's in the comic books. This is somebody's interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, accept it as that. Just go and see it and say, this is Nolan's and Abrams and everybody else's look at this. Just accept it as that. This is what they envision it to be.
Hang on, Abrams is involved in this?
I'm sorry?
Abrams is involved in this?
Well, Abrams
No,
was
he's
involved
not.
but he was involved with another movie this summer.
Okay.
Nolan and who's the other one involved with Superman?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder. Okay, well, and people are going, well, then it's going to be horrible. Zack Snyder, I don't think has really forced me to go away from a movie. I love 300. I like The Watchmen. So just accept it. This is their interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And you're either right or you're wrong. In the respect that that is your opinion. Either you're right and they're wrong, or they're right and you're wrong. Just accept it. Just roll with it. Just say, okay, that's what they believe. That's fine.
And there's a lot of people out there that tend to think that just because they don't like a director's first couple of outings and everything, that he can never do any good. Yet, and even when they do finally come out and not make a stinker, they still have that feeling that it's still not as good as it could have been. It's almost like a bad taste in their mouth, and so they're not willing to give it a shot. And I think that does a disservice to a lot of directors out there, because first couple of times, it's your first couple of outings, so you may have stumbled a couple of times. That doesn't mean you can't hit a home run, the third time up. And
well, a perfect example, Peter Jackson. The first couple of movies he did were not well received.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 or 4, and then all of a sudden he does the Rings films, and then all of a sudden everybody just, he was able to do his version of King Kong, and then of course now he's doing The Hobbit. So, but if they did the same thing to him as they do to some other directors, then I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing within the studio, those couple of outings that he made the first couple of times. It makes you wonder what he did to get the studio to look at him and go, okay, we're going to let you have Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there had to be either something that he's done, or when they somehow they brought him in and talked to him, maybe there was something that he said that made him go, okay, this is our guy.
Maybe he said, you know what, I'll pay you to let me do it.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and get into our topics for tonight. Some of this first one we kind of touched on to a certain degree already. How difficult is it to write such a character, stories for such a character? And it doesn't have to necessarily be movies. It could be the comics, because there's people complaining about how the character has been written over the last 20 years or so, and part of it's the darkening of the books thematically, and then trying to get away from the Boy Scout and the truth, justice, and American way, and of course they get rid of the American way and that kind of stuff. So, what's your feelings about how difficult it should be to write such a character?
If I may.
Go ahead.
No.
Thank you. Good night, folks.
Good night, Gracie.
I was just rereading the comments that you forwarded us from Scott Snyder, and I think he's on target with it. I do believe that writing Superman is almost a cut and dried version. Yes, truth, justice, American way, and I think that he's spot on with the idea that you just keep him the same way. You don't need to reinvent him, as some people want, or some people have claimed they've done. I don't think. I know the New 52 took a different version of it. This is another interpretation that somebody has, and has said that this is the way it is. No, this is the way that it is in the New 52. Don't take this necessarily as gospel. This is what they're writing now. So just enjoy it. the difficulty in writing it, I don't see that there would be all that much difficult because your parameters have been set. But parameters, yes, parameters can change also, and they have. I'm sorry, I'm rambling because New 52 has set new parameters. But those people have plotted this out a year in advance. They know what they're going to do in each of the comics that he appears, and they're going to make sure that everything is in conjunction. Therefore, they're not going to have the problems they've had in the past with solvings of crisis venues. I think it would be fun to write as Superman, and you can do it, yes, movies, comics. There's some great books out there. There's one called It's Superman. It's a great read, and it's one man's interpretation. They've got the graphic novels out now by, I believe it's Straczynski, Thomas, is that right?
Yeah, the Earth One books.
Earth One books are great reads, but it's somebody's interpretation. So, unlike Batman, which has undergone this huge darkness, I don't see that Superman is all that dark right now, and therefore, being the light to Batman's dark, I think it's fairly simple to write it.
Have you read any of the Injustice?
No, I haven't. I've got a couple of them. I have not read them yet.
That one is where Superman has gone off the deep end. Basically, you know, it's a prelude to the video game that's come out and everything. But in it, the Joker has tricked Batman into basically killing Lois Lane and their future child. And when Superman realizes what he's done, he basically says, "I'm done with it." He goes right over, finds Joker, kills him. He decides that, you know, humans are not smart enough to save themselves, so he's going to start doing it. He's going to protect the planet the way he should have from the very get-go. And it's not... He hasn't declared martial law yet, but he has declared a worldwide ceasefire, and anyone who fails to comply with that, well, he takes care of it. And basically, it ends up dividing the Justice League. You've got people backing with Superman. You've got Wonder Woman. Of course, Wonder Woman's been wanting this. You know, she's granted, she was sent here to be a peacekeeper, but, you know, she wants war too. That's what she craves. And so she's backing Superman. You've got Damian, you know, in this one, Damian's not dead, and he defies Batman and says, you know what, Superman's right. And so he ends up backing him, and you've got it divided up to where you've got Batman who still says, you know what, this is not the way to do it. You're better than this, and Superman and his followers are saying, no, we've been doing it wrong this entire time. And granted, it's only 5 issues in right now, but to me it's a great read because you can sympathize with Superman, but you still know that that's not the way it should be. You know, that's not the way that Superman should operate. But it's a, you know, for lack of a better word, it's a fun way to see what would happen.
It looks to me that it is an Elseworlds title.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
For
DC. Kind of like Red Sun.
Like Red Sun, yeah. Mike?
My turn?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
wake up.
Apparently this is going to be a theme for this particular show because I completely disagree with everything Les said.
Okay, well, that's why you're here.
I'm going to explain, though. I'm going to explain. Actually, most of what I'm going to disagree with was the idea that writing under incredibly strict parameters is an easy thing to do. That is actually an extremely difficult way to write. when you have absolutely no freedom to do anything, that's not even writing hardly. I mean, so there's no way to wiggle in anything original or creative or anything like that when you're writing under those restrictions. It's just not,
unless you turn it into a glorified Mad Libs or something like that.
right. Unless you're doing it as a mockery
Mhm.
of some sort of parody, then you can actually have fun with it. But if you're trying to do something serious under this horrendously strict set of parameters, that's not even. There's nothing fun or easy about that. That's just incredible drudgery.
Okay.
Mike Marlowe, that is a valid point. You may stay.
Yay! For now.
For now.
Until I disagree with somebody else again. Then I
Is
will
he
be
not
done.
voted off, or has he received the flower?
We haven't passed the torch or cut the coconut yet or whatever they do on that island.
I always thought it would be fun if they would like set fire to them and make them run down the beach, but
Woohoo!
Whoever makes it wins.
Yeah, if he makes it to the water, okay.
let's call it toasted marshmallow time. Anyway,
Yeah,
All right, next time
I
don't
would-
make
I-
that don't make that sound and lean into the camera when you do that, okay?
anyway,
3D.
never mind.
Thomas Chick, you've made a valid point, and you may stay.
Since I'm running the show, I probably should stay.
that
gonna
was
take
pretty
my-
much the valid point right there.
I'm going to take my hangout and go home.
You're driving, man.
I don't have anything else to say after that, so. Let's go on to the next topic then. Since we obviously have General Zod and a few other Kryptonian villains in this film, since go ahead, James. That's all right. Okay. Since they've already announced that they're fast tracking a sequel, is there a particular villain you would like to see appear in the next one? Obviously, you would want someone different.
Who would you want? You started off.
Me? Well, I know a lot of people would say Doomsday, but I think it would be a little too early for that. I wouldn't mind a Brainiac. Brainiac would... I think Brainiac would be... it would definitely be a character we had not seen live action wise, and it'd be different. It would be an interesting dynamic. And now, how he would look would be interesting. I mean, would they would go the humanoid robot, or would they go more of a robot with some humanoid features? I don't know. See, I've been trying to think of villains that would translate real well on live action, because Superman doesn't really have a lot of great villains. But it's kind it's kind of difficult when your protagonist can do basically everything, has all these powers. I mean, what can you do? I know a lot of people like to see Darkseid. I would rather have a Darkseid in like a Justice League movie or something like that than just Superman alone. But I wouldn't be totally upset if they go that route. I already mentioned Doomsday. We'll eventually get Luthor at some point if we don't have him pop up in this movie just as a cameo, which I have not heard that. I know they make reference to him in the film, but as far as I know, I don't know that he's actually in the film. I would like a true representation of Luthor in a movie. Not someone who's doing evil deeds just to get his hands on some land. I never have understood why they went that route, but okay.
Why the hell is supposedly the greatest intellect of the human race so interested in real estate?
Yeah.
It just doesn't really make sense.
Yep. So, go ahead, Les.
I'm like you, Thomas. I would like to see the Brainiac appear. I think that I would like the old 60s comic book version.
Well, I know you would.
With the criminal that would shrink Kandor and to keep it, rather than the version on Smallville that was a liquid robot, which I still can't quite understand.
Liquid metal that makes knives and sharp instruments.
Yeah, I mean, there's the answer to that, Les. It's after the Terminator thing. Post-Terminator, the liquid metal thing is cool. That's all there is.
That's true. Yeah, that's essentially what they ran it from. I would like to see the appearance of Supergirl. I would like to see...
As a villain?
Maybe either... No, just appear. I did not say as a villain. I said appear.
That was the question. The question was about villains. If you want to have Supergirl as a villain, hey, that's okay. I mean, how long?
Done.
Wait till we get to my answers.
I think that'd be awesome.
We saw
Supergirl has been a villain.
We've had the Avengers battle each other for most of the movie, so
Look at the X-Men. They're always fighting.
That's all those movies are based on. Let's fight one another until we figure out that we're on the same side. Other villains, yeah, to me, Superman has a short run of villains there also. I'm not really sure who... Giganta, maybe? The big woman?
No, you save her for Wonder Woman. She's a Wonder Woman villain.
Well, who's the one that was his love interest at one time? You recall?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about her. Maxima.
Maxima, okay.
I forgot about her. That might be interesting.
For a humorous aspect, but if all else fails,
Mongo.
Chris Rock in to play Richard Pryor and see if you can get through that movie.
Mongul. Is that how you pronounce it?
Mongul?
Mongul?
Mongul. Yeah.
Mongul. He's battled him, so that might be one.
But I see Mongul more of a Green Lantern foe than I do Superman.
Okay, how about Cyborg Superman? The Cyborg, Hank Henshaw.
Yeah,
that's one I just thought about. Okay.
Or even better, Bizarro.
I was wondering when Bizarro was going to come up in this conversation.
I have to admit, out of all the Superman comic books that I've read, I seem to come across more Bizarro episodes than anything else. And, of course, after, like I said, I didn't find out until just a couple of years ago that he had actually been killed. Did anybody mention Doomsday?
Yes.
Okay. Then I retract that.
But Thomas,
you don't have to.
But I believe Thomas was right. Maybe it's too soon to introduce Doomsday.
Well, true.
Let's get a more of a story established, and then bring in Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
And I also agree with Thomas that I would look for Darkseid in a Justice League movie or something like that, so they all get a chance at him.
Well, and this actually makes a great way to add extra stories to the series. Brainiac in the city of Kandor.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind seeing that in a movie or a series or whatever.
And I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. If you want to go a little bit of a humorous tone, which I don't think they would,
Oh yeah,
the imp from the fifth dimension, the name I can never pronounce.
Mixias Pitlick.
As long as you get it close, it's all, everybody knows who you're talking about.
Mixed talk.
Mixie.
Now try to say that name backwards so you send him back.
Servants a lot.
Okay.
The imp from the fifth dimension likes big butts, and he cannot lie. Anyway.
That's wrong.
Yeah, my filters are a little out of whack tonight. Okay, yeah, just a smidge. Since we seem to have pause, I'm going to jump in. And most of my answers are probably going to seem like I'm being a smartass, but I'm really not intending it that way.
I think most is really an understatement.
No, actually, I'll go ahead and lead off with the one that I actually think is probably the most smartass. I think what would be an interesting, well, it might not be an interesting movie, but it would make for an interesting story, would be for the quote unquote bad guy to be Superman's psychiatrist. Tell me it wouldn't be interesting to hear what Superman has to say on the couch. Come on. I mean, to get inside, that would just be this brilliant window into Superman's head to figure out how this alien creature believes that people work.
Only if the psychiatrist is the animated character that John Lovitz did. The psychiatrist that he did.
Nice.
That's better than what I thought at first. But okay. I think another possibility, as far as villains, and I mean, again, with the air quotes around it, would be the Justice League. I think it might be fun to pit Superman against the Justice League. Even if it's really just something ideological, it doesn't have to be a big, huge battle scene, although you're not going to sell a movie unless there's a big, huge battle scene. I think it would be interesting to see him have to fight them individually or in small groups, and just to have both sides attempting to persuade the other that they're wrong about something big. It would have to be something big, obviously.
Well, that's kind of what they're doing with Injustice, but except that, you know, Superman's kind of lost his boyhood innocence and everything. So it's a twisted version of that.
Well, let me jump in there. Would you like to see a Batman versus Superman film?
Yes. Yes, I would.
Honestly, I'm not sure you could do what I was just talking about without that. I mean...
Oh, yeah. If you're doing if you're doing a Justice League, yeah, he's going to be involved there, but I'm just talking about just a mono. Yeah, I think it's got possibilities, yeah. Okay.
I think there's some psychological interest there.
To me, it would be more of a manipulative movie where one is pitted against the other because of the villain, and that could be Luthor or Joker or both.
Didn't they do something like that with Poison Ivy?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would be more interesting if it wasn't, honestly.
Then, in the end, of course, they turn and go after the villain, whoever that may be, and then that's the important part of that one.
Oh, they can always use Loki. He's so good at turning heroes against each other, so hey, why not?
And he's dreamy.
He's...
Yeah.
Woohoo!
I think it's the horns.
Are you saying? No, I'm not.
You want to make you horny, baby? Anyway, so who else did you have on your list there, Mike, of possible villains?
The only other one I was going to throw in was actually Bizarro, just because nobody had mentioned him, but he got mentioned. So and honestly, he's one of the, since like I said, I'm not 100% familiar with the Superman subgenre by itself. I don't really know much about Bizarro, so I think it would be interesting to learn. Um, there was something else I was going to say.
Well, he's bizarre, so that's one thing.
Yeah. Well, sure.
Well, sure.
But would you?
But I definitely think they need to avoid Luthor. Maybe
But
entirely.
would you take the stand of the comedy of the 60s and 70s version, or are you going to look at the more basic with the one series that Richard Donner had done for Action Comics with Bizarro, where it was real strong drama? I don't know that the strong drama would work. The comedy would work.
I think if there's a potential for strong drama, there's a way to make it work, and I think it would be fun to see somebody try. I wouldn't necessarily go comedy with Superman. I mean, I think we've already beat Superman 3 to death with that.
Well, couldn't you do if you find couldn't you do both if you find the right mix? Just every once in a while, he will say something stupid.
Superman or Bizarro?
But well, either or. But I was really talking about Bizarro, but because I mean that's pretty much what Les is referring to. Everything is the opposite. So it's a beautiful day, so he says it's a crappy day, that kind of thing. Everything's opposite. So I mean, not exactly like that, but maybe every once in a while, maybe say something kind of something that he didn't. That's not what he meant to say, and it was done as laugh, but not completely, totally like the way the character was designed.
Kind of more of like the awkward laughter thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, in a way, when you're doing that, you're trying to get a laugh in a way that's still totally serious. That sounds insane, but you're not doing it for comedy. You're doing it for this situation and how awkward it really is.
Yeah.
In that moment.
So it's kind of a nod to all the different incarnations of the character.
Sure, why not?
Sure, why not? This is our party.
Right, we're making this up. We're setting the parameters here.
Woo! Okay, any other villains y'all would like to mention before we move on to our game, tonight's game?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Yes, bring on the game.
Okay.
Game me.
This week's game is Chances. I will mention a particular story item or statement, and y'all will give me a percentage of what do you think the odds are, regarding such statement or whatever.
Got it.
Yes, I did a really good job explaining about that. Wow. Item 1. Chances that we'll see a live-action Justice League film. Like I've already mentioned earlier in the show, they're already fast-tracking a sequel, and it sounds like they really want to get another Superman movie out before they even possibly think about doing a Justice League. But do you think we'll ever see a live-action Justice League movie? Whoever wants to go first can go.
I'll go.
Okay, Mikey. What are the odds?
I'm going to say 60%.
Okay.
Mainly because I'm only going to park it that low because if Man of Steel does well, and they do crank out a sequel, the sequel is going to have to do well. And it's just, I mean, and whether it's related or not, I mean, I know I'm crossing up companies a little bit here, but the other thing I think will matter is if Guardians of the Galaxy does well, because that's going to prove that Avengers wasn't a fluke, and that a big super team movie can work. Once that is proven, I think they'll do a Justice League flick, whether possibly even whether they're really ready or not with solo movies, because DC's been very spotty on the solo movies. I think they're going to be lucky if they try 2 Superman movies. I think they're going to be lucky if one does well. And by does well, I don't necessarily mean makes a whole lot of money, because it's going to make a whole lot of money. But that doesn't mean that people are going to like it.
How it's received.
Right. People will pay a whole lot of money to see it and possibly still not like it. So Man of Steel will almost certainly be profitable, but that doesn't mean it will go over well. And DC, like I said, DC has got a ways to go before they can prove they can create a big movie that's going to be well received. And so I think 2 Superman flicks and a Marvel movie are probably going to be big deciding factors on it. But I think overall that there's a better than average chance that it'll happen.
Okay, James. We can't hear you. Okay, Les, why don't you go while James tries to figure out his microphone problem?
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 75%, but I believe, like Mike, that a second Superman movie is going to have to do well, and they're going to have to put out a couple of other character movies that do well to promote the Justice League. Of course, Green Lantern didn't do so well for them. The Wonder Woman TV series never got on the air. But to me, they would have to have something like that established so people will know who the Justice League is. The Avengers came out, and they had already done movies of Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, and the Hulk. You had 2 characters that were appearing there, but were not known by the public prior to that. So I believe that, well, of course, Black Widow was in Iron Man, so she was known, but Hawkeye was an unknown character from the word go. I do believe that they will have some good chances with a Justice League movie if they get the other characters established first.
Which will be interesting with Batman. But anyway.
Yes.
Because it's going to be a new one. So the question will be, do they reboot the Batman series again? New Batman in order just to pull off Justice League? Or do they just risk throwing a brand new Batman into the Justice League movie?
I think they could bring him into the Justice League movie and just have him from an established point. Year 1 is going to be the making of Batman, but this will be Batman already established and not necessarily connected as far as the timeline.
Well, all indications are is that they want to use the Justice League movie to spin out the other films, including the rebooted Batman.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm understanding, but They were also saying there was going to be a Justice League movie in 2015. Obviously, they are rethinking this as the months and years pass on, because now obviously they can't do a Justice League movie in 2015 if they're going to want to do another Man of Steel film before then.
They don't have a script right now. They're not going to do a Justice League movie in 2015.
Right.
Sure.
So, James?
I think 100% is what's going to happen. Yeah, I think the keyboard was the problem. Yeah. No, I'm looking at. I'm going to say 100%.
Hold it up again. Hold it up again.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
No, we like that vision. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You sure?
You're doing a Hendrix there.
Kilroy.
Kilroy, yeah. No, I believe 100% it's going to get made. But I agree with your timing and everything. They've got to hurry up and do something, because otherwise they're just going to delay themselves, and it's just going to give Marvel that much more of a chance to get out there. They've seen what Marvel can do. They've seen what the Avengers has turned into. And so I think that something's going to happen, and it's going to happen pretty quickly. Now, whether it's going to be any good, I think that happening quickly part is probably going to cause some problems with it. So I believe that 100% it's going to happen. Whether it's going to be any good, that's going to be the iffy part. That one I would put the 50 to 60% on.
I think they've got to hit a home run off the bat to do this. Otherwise,
I believe that too, yeah. But, whether they can actually do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, y'all gave me some compelling reasons. I was
That's
thinking.
never happened before, huh?
Well,
Red letter day.
I was thinking
Red
60.
letter day.
I was thinking 65%. I hadn't thought about it until you mentioned it, Mike. But yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy might have a little bit of an influence on here, because you're right. With the Avengers, they already had the established characters and the actors, so it was something everybody knew. And Guardians, yeah, they're going to know some of the actors, but they don't know the characters, so that's going to be an interesting thing here. Justice League, it's going to be characters that the general public know, but they're not going to know the actors, and we don't have anything unless they quickly put together a Batman film, which I can't see them doing that this quickly. I don't know, and I really don't. They're so behind the eight ball regarding all this. I think they were really hoping that Green Lantern would have done better than it did, and then they could have used that that, and then of course Man of Steel, and then they can go from there into the Justice League film, and then they can reboot Batman, and then give Wonder Woman and Flash their own films. Green Lantern was more costly than most people think.
Well, let me ask this question: what do you guys hope will happen? Do you hope that that it's 100% made, or do you just don't care?
Who are you directing this to first?
Any one of you. We'll start with you, James.
Repeat that question one more time.
Do you hope that?
Shut up.
What is your ranking? How do you feel about it getting made? A Justice League movie getting made? Do you have hopes that it will get made, or do you not care?
I really okay. Personally, I would love to see a Justice League movie get made. That's what I was raised on as a kid. Was every morning with the Super Friends. That was my Justice League of America, and eventually getting into the comic books. I want to see those people work together. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see Zack and Jaina and Gleek. Keep that crap out of there. That was great.
What about Wendy and Marvin and Wonder Dog?
It's Zan.
Oh, Zan, yeah,
Get
that
it
guy.
right, dude. Come on.
They were just little alfalfas, with their little hair thing. That's great for Saturday morning cartoons when I was 8 and 9 years old. I don't need it in my Justice League movie. But I do want to see Superman and Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I want to see them work together on the big screen. And again, going back to, I believe that it's going to get done. But again, if it's going to be done well, I'm not so sure about that. Because if you're looking at DC's track record, their track record's not as great as Marvel's. So, yes, I want to see it. Yes, I believe it's going to be done if it's going to be done right. That's all I got.
All right, here we go. This is going to sound crazy, which I've probably been doing the whole time anyway. But I think a Justice League movie is a wonderful idea. What I think they should do is shelve it for 7 years, starting right now. What they need to do is let Marvel run their course with their movies. Let's sit back and watch Avengers 2 and all of and possibly even Avengers 3 and all the other satellite flicks that come off of it, and just kind of let it sort of die out a little bit. Let the Marvel engine kind of run out of ideas, and in the meantime, us DC folks are just writing down as much stuff as we can to put together an actually good Justice League film and a handful of good satellite films. And when Marvel has sort of tapped out the market on their stuff, then we come in and start cleaning up. We come in and we inject the theaters with DC properties and do a wholesale shift of interest into the DC thing. I think that's going to be their only chance to pull this off. They're never going to do that because there's just so much money in the market right now. But I think that's the smart thing to do.
Thomas?
I hope it gets done. It has the potential to be a very big movie because we saw how successful the Avengers were, and the general public didn't really know those characters before the solo films. Where here, you already know if they go with the original 7 or so, they already know almost half the characters. They know Superman, they know Batman, they know Wonder Woman. They may know Green Lantern, they may know Flash, they may know Aquaman. In there, I want it done right. That does concern me. I want it done right. I don't want them just to do it because, hey, we saw what the Avengers do. We have something similar to that, and we can do that. I think Mike makes some valid points. So did James. I'm just a little concerned. I'm glad that they're taking their time because obviously, like I said, they were talking about doing Justice League in 2015, but everything keeps pushing back and pushing back even more. I'm thinking that they're watching what Marvel Studios is doing. Will they follow that model exactly? Obviously not. If they're trying to do the team movie first and then spin off of that, is that the right decision? I don't know. In some cases, or some of those characters, I don't think it would matter. Obviously, it would not matter for Batman. May not for Wonder Woman. We just had a Green Lantern movie. Whatever you feel about the movie, it was okay. It wasn't great. It had problems, of course. Flash was a TV show about 20 years ago. I think it would have done a lot better if it had been in a different time. if it's a time slot than it was. It would have been on for several years. No, probably not. But I think it would have fared a little bit better. But yes, I would love to see it. Will it happen? I'm not as certain. Um, I'm cautiously optimistic. It's really going to depend on what moves they do and how wise those moves are. Does that answer your question? Kind of? Sort of?
Yes, it does. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Appreciate it.
And
Uh-huh.
you know what I would do
What?
if I was them? I would. I mean, obviously, I think Marvel has set the standard with doing the solo flicks first. They need 2 movies, and they need to be really, really good movies. Flash and Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Man of Steel is there already. I mean, whether people like it or not, it's there. You can't go back on that. Batman is established enough that I don't think you need to reestablish him for this. Yes, you're going to bring in a new Batman, that's fine. But it's Batman, and everybody knows Batman at this point. Wonder Woman has. I mean, it would be cool. I think a Wonder Woman movie would be cool, but I think she is probably established well enough as a character already that you don't have to worry about her. I think Flash and Aquaman are the guys that if you're going to bring these in, they're the ones that need to be brought in.
You don't want to risk trying to reboot Green Lantern.
I think it's still too fresh.
It's just too soon.
And I think you definitely need to go with somebody else. I think you need a new Green Lantern.
Oh yeah, if you're rebooting, you're going to be doing
Hal. It can be Hal, just not Ryan Reynolds, because people are just going to associate it with the bad movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've shot themselves in the foot with Green Lantern, and they need to just let it alone. Build up Flash and Aquaman, because a lot of people don't understand Aquaman still, which is why he got hammered so hard in the Robot Chicken DC. That's why everybody picks on Aquaman.
Why is everybody always picking on me?
Right, and Flash is the other guy that people still don't really know all that much about. He's really fast, but that's all people know. So let's do those guys, get the general public up to speed on them. You can deal with the Trinity in the movie. That's not hard. And I think that's where that builds the foundation.
My only thing is, I still think you need to do a Wonder Woman one, because the public's idea on that is 35 years old. You need to bring it. Granted, she's in comic books and things like that, and all over all the merchandise, but that's just her image, and I think that she needs to have her story back out there again, because a lot of people, what you're going to have come into play, and that they're bringing into a lot of the comic books, is the fact that, yeah, she was sent here to protect the humans, but she's also from a warrior race, and so, and a lot of people don't realize that relationship that she's got. So I think it needs to kind of be revisited also. But I would love to see Aquaman on the big screen. And y'all are going to laugh at this, and I don't care if you do. Take Percy Jackson. Not yet.
Oh.
Take Percy Jackson, and him being the son of Poseidon. Take that and make it an adult film, or not that kind of adult film. That was the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
I think they've already done that.
No, we don't.
I think they've already done that one.
Which one's that?
Oh no!
I don't
Not
want to know.
that one. Anyway. But yeah, I'd love to see Flash and Aquaman, but I also think that Wonder Woman needs to be revisited too.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I agree that it would be great if they took the time to do that. But I think of the three, I think of those three, she's the least important.
Gotcha.
I think Flash and Aquaman are the ones that, if nothing else, are going to make this interesting. Because you already know what you're getting with Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Right.
Flash and Aquaman are kind of the wild cards.
I can see that.
Although you did bring up an interesting point, James, that the ideal that the image that most fans are going to be comparing whoever's going to be wearing the tiara and the bracelets is 35 plus years old.
Now, I would love to see Linda Carter come back and play Hera. That would be really cool. Who cares? I would love to see Linda Carter come back and play a homeless person, man. Just bring Linda Carter back.
She was great in Sky High.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
She's still a very lovely looking woman. Yes.
And I drool. I happened to be watching little bits and pieces of that with my mother, and while I'm drooling on Linda Carter, she's drooling on Kurt Russell, which was kind of pitiful. I'm sorry.
And the water level rose.
There went the coastline.
Yes.
It all spins around again.
Called a comeback.
Okay. Number 2.
Oh, there's another question? Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this is going to be a longer show than normal, guys. That's all right.
Yeah, okay.
That's no problem. Make up for last week. Last week it was short. And I'll direct this to Les first. The chances that Man of Steel, the movie, would bring in new readers to the comic book stores.
That's a difficult one. I'm going to say no, just in the respect that movies coming out, even the Avengers movie, did not bring all that many new readers in.
So
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that there were some readers that decided to start picking up Avengers, but there are not that many new readers walking in saying, I want the Avengers, nothing else. I don't think you'll get anybody that'll come in, I want Superman, nothing else, as a new reader. It's not going to happen. The chances of that happening are probably 20%, if that high.
Mikey?
I actually agree. I'm going to agree with Les for a change. I'm actually going to go down to 10%. I think historically these things just haven't brought readers, brought people into comic book stores. People are willing to drop their money on these big old honking movies that have gazillion-dollar budgets, but they're not interested in a $4 comic book for some reason. And I don't think that's going to change because of this movie. I don't care how good it is.
Come here, Lily.
Okay, James.
I'm going to put... I really hate to do it, but I'm going to agree with them too. And not like that. I hate to agree with you because I would love to think that there are more readers out there or more people that would be interested in reading about them instead of just, finding the next. And here's the problem. I don't think it's the readers in general. I think it's the fact that there's no. I mean, have you seen any commercials outside of comic book shops for the comic books or for the novelizations or anything like that? No. It's all about the toys. And I think that's a pitiful statement from the marketers and the advertisers when you've got... it's almost like a disservice to the comic book. They automatically think that since they put a movie out there, that people automatically are going to go get a comic book. Well, why not tell them about the comic book, just in case they don't know about the comic book, or just to spur some energy into it. I think that's a missed market And that's why I agree with the guys that you're probably only going to see about a 20% upswing because there's just no marketing and advertising money put towards that, which is really sad.
Okay.
Yeah. Not once do you hear them ever say in one of those commercials, "Hey, there's also a comic book. Go buy it." Because if they did, people would. Believe it or not.
And you know what? There's a brand new Superman series starting tomorrow. I mean, obviously they aligned it this week to where it would come out the same week as the movie.
Unchained?
Unchained comes out tomorrow. And of course it's being written by Scott Snyder, one of the hottest writers right now, and Jim Lee is doing the art. You're right. There should be commercials in the theaters or TVs or something saying, you know about the movie, now read where they come from.
Yeah.
Or see where they come from.
Because we're the only ones that know about it.
There hasn't been any kind of TV commercials for the comics, to my knowledge, since DC did the whole push for the beginning of New 52.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They did a commercial and they did stuff out in the theaters, and then that was it.
Well, now,
I don't understand that.
What was the most recent comic book that was sold through Sears or given away through Sears? Yeah, here it is. 6 days ago. Oh, well, they were okay. Hold on, Darwin. Okay. Give me just a second, all right? Yeah, there was a Superman comic book giveaway this weekend, or it was actually this past weekend for Sears. All right, so that's one thing, but that was through a store that I don't know of a lot of people that still shop at Sears.
I've seen the commercials for Sears and they tie it into the movie, but I didn't see anything. I don't remember paying attention enough to seeing that hey, we're doing a free comic book giveaway or something.
Yeah,
I didn't see that either.
And this was, I want to say that I saw it on the back of a comic book. So again, how is that reaching the masses?
It's not. It's not.
Now, to me, there are two things that they could do. One is at the end of their trailer, put a big blurb up there talking about read Superman in action and Superman and some other comics. Okay, list that out. Now, if they really want to trap people into reading the comics, you end the movie 20 minutes before it's supposed to end, and you say, if you want to read or want to know the ending, read these comics, and run it about 6 months worth of comics to finish the story, and then you got people reading.
Wait, what? You want to turn a $200 million Hollywood blockbuster into a choose-your-own-adventure book?
That's right.
Into a cliffhanger.
You are going to have riots on your hands, sir. Riots, and will all be your fault because it was your idea.
And
Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
I'm barricaded in my house, which is in southeast Missouri. So,
Tom, can you make sure that his address gets put up on the end of this
episode? Yes, I can. My percentage chances of new readers, I'm going to be a little bit more pessimistic. I'm going to say 0. I've talked to some of the local comic book stores, and I've asked them, and of course we have 3 or 4 superhero comic movies a year for the last 3 or 4 years. They're not seeing the increase. They're not seeing the new readers and all that. The only times they really do is free comic book day, and it's people coming in getting their new comics and they're gone, and you'll never see those people again.
Mm-hmm. They will read those free comic books for an entire freaking year. It's like nursing beers, man.
It's amazing that Marvel and DC, and I'm singling them out because they're the ones that are really putting out the big guys out. That they have the power and the financial resources behind them that they do, and no one has thought about, hey, we really need to try to see if we can tie these in together and try to increase sales. The sales are up, but from what I've been reading, but it's not because of new readers. It's because of the established readers that are already there are trying out other books. It's because of the gimmicks or God forbid really good stories it's getting people to jump on board of those books.
What? These things have really good stories? Where the hell did those come from?
That's a rarity.
So I don't think it will because they had before.
Let me ask you this. Going back to movies, why is it that DC has had flops, Marvel has had flops, Dark Horse has not? Dark Horse had Sin City, and they had 2 Hellboy movies, and all 3 were successful.
And Star Wars.
They had characters that nobody knew.
Well, and wasn't Virus a Dark Horse book? Someone put it out. And Virus is a decent movie. I don't know if it was a flop.
Yeah,
it was a decent film.
yeah.
I don't know if it was Image
right.
or Dark Horse. I don't know.
I mean, even RoboCop was successful.
Yeah, but that was a movie that got adapted into comic books. That's a little different.
Well, we had tossed Star Wars in there, so
I didn't toss it in.
That was me. I was being sarcastic.
What you're stirring up.
Mike's stirring it up as usual.
Who, me? I forget what you're talking about. I never do that.
The movie that you mentioned, Virus, is that the one from '99 with Jamie Lee Curtis?
That's it.
Okay.
yes.
I will put that on my Netflix.
Jamie Lee Curtis, one of the Baldwin brothers, and Donald Sutherland.
Yep. William Baldwin, Donald Sutherland, yeah.
It's actually I like the movie.
Talking about the Sears promotion and everything. Celebrating the release of summer's most anticipated movie by getting a free Superman comic book. Visit Sears to get a free comic book on Sunday, June 9th with any purchase for Shop Your Way members. You have to be a member of their shopping club to be able to get the comic book.
Well, considering my recent experience with them, I don't think I'm going to be one of their members. So
yeah, and then the other comic book is the All-Star Superman #1 that they're giving away tomorrow. But you can only get that at comic shops or bookstores.
which you're basically you're preaching to the crowd.
Exactly.
Preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which defeats the purpose.
Yep.
I don't understand the thinking here, guys. I really don't.
They should be rolled out at McDonald's, any kind of fast food establishment that gives away toys and stuff. It should be given away. I mean, it's just there's so many venues, and they've just failed. And then they wonder why their movies flop, or not necessarily flop, but how they don't get any. Because that's in marketing, you look at something like that as it's something to kind of bring in people to sell more product to. All right, yeah, they buy that product and everything, but you don't get them to the other products. Well, because you're not marketing to them. You're not letting them know that those products are out there. Yeah, people know that there are comic books, but you still got to show them the product. You can't just hope that they show up at your door and go, hey, we want to read a comic book.
Yeah.
It's pitiful.
Who is carrying the toys for Superman? Is it McDonald's or
I haven't seen
Burger
anything.
King?
I hadn't seen anything.
Somebody's got to pick that up.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
Because you've got 4 major characters to get toys of.
Yeah. Actually, it looks like Hardee's and Carl's Jr.
Oh, good. Two places
That's
we
kind
don't
of
have.
Pretty much.
yeah, of course.
No, there's a Carl's Jr. up at Campbell and 75.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 in the area.
All right, come to me, fellas. I know where the joints are. Okay.
Where the what are?
He's eating at Carl's Jr. I think we know what joints he's talking about.
For medicinal purposes, okay?
Okay.
I thought that was White Castle.
Yeah.
It's them
White
too.
Castle and Crystal. Yeah.
Okay, before we start trying to wrap things up for tonight, is there anything that we missed that y'all guys want to point out, kind of discuss real quick?
No, we were flawless.
I'm just talking about news items.
We were like on. News items. I've been away for the last 4 or 5 days, so I haven't been keeping up with my my ticker and everything. But not really comic book related, but just want to send condolences out to Ian Banks' family on his passing on the 9th. Sci-fi author. Been around for quite a while. But yeah, Ian M. Banks passed away back on the 9th. He had the big series that he was famous for is called the Culture series, and it's one I've always wanted to read, but I've been a little intimidated by it. But looks like I might have to jump into it now. But that's about all the news I've been able to catch up on.
Okay.
There's a title I want to promote. They're doing a mini-series now of Hero Bear and the Kid, and I want to say that that is good for all ages, and it's a fun read. It's basically a black and white comic, but it's got some humor to it, and it's got some action to it, so I do recommend it.
Cool.
Mikey?
I wish I had something altruistic like that to throw out, but I really don't.
Okay.
Nothing springing to mind on me here.
There's a big rumor going out there right now that kind of
Not my fault.
Yeah.
This time.
This time.
It's the joints coming back on.
When I first heard about it, I was going, "Whoa! I don't know about this." But as we talked about last week, I believe we discussed it last week about the new cast members for Guardian of the Galaxy, including a certain former companion of the Doctor.
Yeah. So what happened?
The rumor is that she may be playing Angela, the new character, the character that has been brought over from Image by Neil Gaiman, that was created in the Spawn comic, and is about to make her Marvel debut here next week or so.
Is that a good guy or a bad guy?
They're portraying her as a villain.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, Amy Pond, a villain? Come on! But that would be pretty cool.
I'm not sure what to make of this because I mean, it kind of makes sense since they're just bringing the character in and making a big splash with her to turn around and put her in the movie where she's going to be apparently a villain. She's going to be, I guess, a villain in the comic as well, because that's going to be the next time you see her outside of the Age of Ultron event books, is that she'll be in Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's some logic to it, but I'm just going, wow, really? That seems awful quick, but I don't know.
Oh, I was just looking at some of the images that they have for this Angela. That's kind of hot.
And we lost Mike.
So we know why James is going to this movie.
I must now go out and buy every copy.
So.
Ow.
Don't be research.
Yeah, research. So, anything else y'all got to add before we call it an evening?
Last thing, the old Geeks matinee this Friday. Studio Movie Grill has got it up now. So Studio Movie Grill, Spring Valley here in Dallas, Spring Valley and 75. We will be meeting at 11 o'clock. Movie starts at 11:35. If you go to my fan book or my Facebook page, A Galaxy Called Dallas, you'll see the event. And we skip that midnight movies thing, and we go and watch the first showing on Friday morning. $6 a ticket, a lot cheaper, and there's a lot fewer people and much better company. So come on out and join us.
Sounds good to me.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. Having a
Well, he's waiting for Netflix anyway, so
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, we've already got over to that. So with that, we'll go ahead and pub your website again, James.
www.agalaxycalleddallas.com.
Okay. And Mikey, your tweeter.
I am at Mikey Geek.
Woohoo.
By the way, I love your avatar on your Twitter account.
Do you know where that's from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think I do. I have to look again.
Of course, guys, feel free to email us with any comments, suggestions, any kind of feedback. We're more than happy to listen to them and take it under advisement. So go ahead and send it to us. Don't be shy. So, until next time, y'all take it easy and see you later.
Adios.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.